The Cheeseboy628 Show, starring Cheeseboy628.
Hey Kangasghang, what's going on? This is Cheeseboy628 here today giving you an OU tier Wi-Fi battle. Now I'd like to thank the Kangasghang for allowing me to upload to their channel. Definitely subscribe to them. And I hope you all enjoyed this awesome match I had against my buddy Nathan. Now let's get into the team preview. I've got a Scarf Rotom Cut, Physical Defensive Heatran, Life Orb Starmie, Sub 3 Attacks Gengar, Specially Defensive Florges, and Specs Kyurem. Now looking at my opponent's team, there are a lot of threats that are actually weak to my Heatran. His Scizor is his only possible Mega, and that thing is really bulky, so unless I can get a nice Lava Plume on it, it's probably going to sweep my team if it is a Swords Dance variant. He also has a Talonflame, which Heatran counters pretty nicely, and then of course Ferrothorn is quad weak to Lava Plume just like Scizor. It can also do some decent work to Galvantula, but Florges is a special wall, so it should be able to handle that Tentacruel, Galvantula, and Greninja. So with that all said, let's see how this battle goes. So I'm going to start with my physically defensive Heatran because I want to get my rocks up as soon as possible. Although he does have a Tentacruel, it's nice to put a little pressure on it because he does need his Talonflame to be in decent health to do a decent amount to my team. He's going to start with his Galvantula, and I'm thinking I'm just going to start with the Lava Plume, at least bring it down to its sash. If I get the burn, that's even nicer, but that's not going to be the case. And he's going to Volt Switch out. Me being physically defensive, I don't take the Volt Switch as nicely as I had hoped, but nonetheless, I'm still able to take it relatively nicely and just go for my rocks. Now, he does bring in his Tentacruel, and I don't want to overpredict here in case he does Rapid Spin and me trying to get a burn or going for Earth Power. I do not want to take a Scald right now because, like I said, I am physically defensive. I'm going to go to my Rotom, and although I'm offensive, I still take the Scald pretty nicely, but of course I get burned. But that should be alright because I do carry Aromatherapy on my Florges, but here I'm just going to Trick, because it'll be really nice to cripple this Tentacruel to lock him into one move, and that will be very vital later. Now, he is locked into the Rapid Spin, and I do have Black Sludge now because I did trick that onto myself, so not only am I crippled from the burn, but also from the Black Sludge, so I am losing a quarter of my health every turn. But on the bright side, he has to switch out now because he's locked in a Rapid Spin, and he needs a spinner in case I get my rocks up again, so I'm going to go for the Volt Switch, and I'm able to take out his Galvantula just from being Death Fodder, so now I can go into my Gengar and just see what he's going to bring in. Turns out he's going to bring in his Greninja, and it's probably going to outspeed me, and I do have a Florges, so I'm pretty sure I can take anything this Greninja has to offer as long as it's specially oriented. So my Florges is going to come in and unfortunately lose one speed stage because of the Sticky Web, but it is a special wall, so speed doesn't really matter for it. And that Greninja is going to go for the Dark Pulse and do very little damage to me, so it's looking pretty nice for me. If he does have a U-turn, he doesn't go for it here because of course I resist, and so it's just Life Orb Recoil on him. So I'm going to go for Aromatherapy here because I do have that burned Rotom Cut, and now it is perfectly healed, except it does have Black Sludge still, but I may have the opportunity to trick it later, which would be really nice. So he's going to bring in a Scizor here, and I'm scared of that Bullet Punch, but he knows that my Florges can't do anything to him even if I stay in. So he is going to Mega Evolve, and he's going to go for the Swords Dance, but I do bring in my Heatran now, and I am physically defensive. But if he carries Superpower, he may just sweep my team right now. So I'm going to hope that I can take anything he has to offer. Maybe he just has Dual Stab. Turns out he carries the Brick Break. Can I live this? Yes, with 21 HP. Thankfully, physically defensive Heatran was able to pull it through for me, and that was definitely one of the hugest moments of the game. So I'm going to live with very little HP. Heatran basically did all the work it needed to, although it doesn't have rocks up, which is kind of unfortunate. He does bring his Talonflame in here, which is a little bit weird, except he knew at this range that my Heatran would die, and judging by how he brought it in, it was probably banded. And you may find this play a little bit weird, but I do bring in my Kyurem, which is offensive, and the reason I bring it in is because I really don't have anything else to take hits from this Talonflame, and I'm thinking from full, Kyurem being pretty naturally bulky is able to take a hit. So I am just going to go for the Specs Modest Ice Beam, and it is a guaranteed 2 KO on this Ferrothorn, which is super nice. So I'm going to go for it once more, and that is going to take out that Ferrothorn, which otherwise could have been pretty annoying if it was able to get up rocks or any other hazards. So he's going to bring in his Talonflame once again, And it's kind of a weird play on his part because he's going to go for the steel wing now, which does less than a brave bird would, and I'm easily going to be able to take him out with the Specs modest ice beam. So that threat is now gone. I definitely thought he should have stayed in the first place, just go for brave bird, do a nice bit of damage on me, and this Ferrothorn could live one ice beam, take me out with probably a gyro ball. But now he brings in his Greninja here, and I'm fine with just sacking my Kyurem now. And he's going to go for the Ice Beam, and now I'm just going to bring in my Florges because I know I can wall this Greninja pretty nicely. And so he's going to withdraw, of course, because he can't touch me, and he's actually going to go into his Tentacruel, which makes perfect sense as I now bring in my Rotom. Now what I didn't know is a Choice Scarf Tentacruel without any speed investment is able to outspeed a max speed timid Gengar by 4 points. So I was thinking, since I'm an offensive Rotom timid max speed, I'm going to outspeed, go for a nice Volt Switch or T-Bolt to take him out, and that is not going to be the case because he outspeeds even my Gengar, as you can see here. But he does make that weird play, in my opinion, of going for the Sludge Bomb as opposed to the Ice Beam. And not only that, but he stays in for the next turn on my Gengar. So that way I'm able to go for the substitute, then go for the Sludge Bomb and take out this Greninja. So his Greninja's now gone. That was a pretty huge threat to my team of what was remaining. And now he brings in his Tentacruel once again because that's all he has left. And he has to pretty much lock himself in a Scald, hope for some burns on my Florges, but pretty much I already won with Florges automatically. But not to drain the game anymore, taking any more turns, I'm going to keep going for Shadow Balls, maybe get Spidef Drops if I'm lucky, but that's not going to be the case. And this Tentacruel is actually doing a decent amount with the Scald. But yes, after a couple Shadow Balls, he's at half health, he has no form of recovery, he can't use Protect, he doesn't have Black Sludge, and so slowly but surely I should be able to win this game. Although he does decide to burn me with that Scald there, so that's a tad unfortunate. And of course I get the Spidef Drop on the Shadow Ball that doesn't matter, because although I will live because of Black Sludge now, he does outspeed me by 4 freaking points. Goes for the Scald, takes me out. And now I do have a Starmie that hasn't done any work this game, so I thought, hey, might as well bring it in. I do outspeed it, except for Sticky Web was annoying this whole time. Seeing as I do have Starmie to spin, I just never really had a chance to actually bring it in to spin away the Sticky Web. Thankfully it didn't actually matter. And I want to get the Rapid Spin kill here. I am Life Orb. I should be able to do some more damage with this thing, and so I'm going to keep going for it. But no, he has to burn me. And now watch how much this Rapid Spin does. Nothing. Now I know it's practically futile to get the Rapid Spin kill, so I am going to go for the Psyshock next turn, not stall out any longer, and I'm going to barely let that Scald. Go for the Psyshock, take him out, and that will be the game. So that was a great game, Nathan, and I hope you all enjoyed this commentary of mine. If you do like what you see here, be sure to check out my channel, link in the description. I upload daily, consisting of Wi-Fi battles, showdown battles, videos on team building strategies, let's plays, and even more. So with that all said, I hope you all enjoyed. Thank you all for watching. Like, comment, sub, and until later, peace.